Ducati has announced the 2023 Panigale V4 R, a street-legal superbike that now surpasses earlier models as Ducati's closest production model to a competition motorcycle. With technical solutions derived from MotoGP and WorldSBK Championship bikes, Ducati claims a max 240.5 horsepower for the updated Panigale V4 R. The 2023 V4 R also features several upgrades over the previous year model. The maximum horsepower of 240.5 sounds impressive, but it's a little more complicated than that. A few things have to fall into alignment for that max to be reached. The 2023 Panigale V4 features the 998 cubic centimeters Desmosedici Stradale R engine, seen in previous models. Ducati claims the Desmosedici Stradale R can reach 16,500 RPM in 6th gear and deliver 207 horsepower at 13,500 RPM, with 82 pound-feet of torque. Add on the racing exhaust, and the Stradale R bumps up to 237 horsepower, which is 3 horsepower higher than its predecessor, but still 3.5 horsepower short of the claimed max. To give the Stradale R another boost, Ducati collaborated with Shell to produce a special performance oil that claims a 10% reduction in mechanical friction, bumping the ponies up to 240.5. Though this is the craziest Panigale yet, the new V4 R is less powerful than the Panigale V4 SP2 in the USA. While the V4 R's 998 cubic centimeters V4 engine belts out 207 horsepower and 82 pound-feet of torque in its standard trim, the SP2's 1,103 cubic centimeters mill produces 210 horsepower and 90.6 pound-feet. In addition, the V4 SP2 boasts electronic Ohlins suspension at both ends compared to the V4 R's manually adjustable Ohlins, further tilting the tail SP2's favor. Even after all the aforementioned facts, there's just no denying that the Panigale V4 R is a superbike like no other. It not only looks the part in its MotoGP-inspired livery but also promises an unmatched riding experience on the racetrack. Not to mention, if you can afford the race exhaust and specialty oil, the V4 R is easily the most powerful superbike out there and comes shockingly close to MotoGP-level horsepower figures. Since Ducati will only produce a handful of these, it is also a great collectible that can return a profit later on. But considering the dollar-to-horsepower ratio, the Panigale V4 SP2 makes more sense for US buyers. This is not the case in European or British markets, though, as the stock V4 R produces 218 horsepower there, 2.5 ponies more than the EU spec V4 SP2. So, is Panigale V4 R worth the hype? That's a matter of subjectivity, but it also depends on where you live. The greater effectiveness of the new Panigale V4 R on the track is seen with the expansion and evolution of the power modes, new Track Evo display on the dashboard, engine maps with calibration dedicated to each single gear, refinements to the Ducati traction control and the ride-by-wire system, but also the adoption of the engine brake control EVO2 strategy, the new strategy for the DQS, and the cooling fan control update. There are 4 engine strategies: full, high, medium, low. Full and low are newly designed, while the high and medium configurations have been revised. Full power mode allows the engine to express its full potential with torque curves without electronic filters except for first gear. For the medium and high power modes, a new ride-by-wire map management system has been developed with dedicated calibration for each of the 6 gears. The low power mode, on the other hand, has been designed for riding on the road or for low grip surfaces, limiting the maximum power of the bike to 160 horsepower and offering a particularly manageable throttle response. To improve stability, precision and directionality in braking and corner entry phases and allow the rider to define more precisely the best electronic engine configuration on each circuit, the Panigale V4 R also adopts the engine brake control EVO2. This electronic engine brake management system features a different gear-by-gear calibration on each of the 3 selectable levels. The strategy was developed to optimize the intensity of the engine brake as a function of the load on the rear axle. For those who use the Panigale V4 R only on the track, the Bologna-based company has developed the specific Ducati Performance DTC Evo 3 software for slicks and rain tires, which now also allows to activate the flashing of the rear position light, as required by racing regulations in case of rain, and replaces the street riding mode with a rain mode specifically designed for use on wet surfaces. To improve rider feeling when opening and managing the throttle, a new throttle control that is 50% more compact and characterized by radial and axial clearances reduced to a minimum, as well as being virtually free of initial idle travel, has been adopted, as on racing bikes there is a pit limiter to limit the speed at the exit and entry of the pit lane.